Welcome to this new mod map tour on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. This is OASIS Springs. This is a new mod map by Catalyzer Gaming, who bought us Wilhelmina Forest and has worked with FDR Login for quite a while. This is an interesting one. It's another one of those ones that kind of throws it in from the left field a little bit. A little bit like Wilhelmina Forest, this one is one of those kind of pioneering, clear the land, build your farm type maps, which I quite like. Could involve a bit of landscaping, those kind of things, but this is set in a very, very different environment than we're used to having on Farming Simulator. This is a desert map, hence the name OASIS Springs. It is an oasis in the desert. Let's zoom out a little bit. That's what the map looks like. It's quite incredible. It only uses 49.97 megabytes as well. So considering how many trees and stuff are on it and the landscape and the rest of it, doesn't use very, very much as a map goes anyway. As far as slot count goes, I'm on normal on New Farmer. So you start with 100,000. This only uses 247 of 1,299 slots. And on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch mode, you don't have any vehicles and it only uses 186 of 1,299. So plenty of scope if you do decide you're going to, forge your way into the undergrowth and create your farm in the landscape. You've got plenty of scope to buy whatever you need to and place what you need to and that kind of thing, which I think is really, really cool. And what I'm going to do very, very quickly is whiz up the hill, because I'm going to show you what I mean. It's brilliant. You've got all the kind of palm type trees out on the outside, which I like. I think it's very cleverly done. And you've got every direction, it's just desert. And that's a nice touch. I know we kind of get to the edge here and you've got an edge of the map, but that kind of goes off and it gives you that feeling. And it then dips down into this oasis. You've got the palm trees on the outside, and where it's obviously more hot and arid and humid and it's all just sand, you've got a lot of dead standing trees. Now, there are no contracts available because there are no fields, as you would imagine. What vehicles do we actually start with? Well, we start with the Lizard pickup, which I'm in now. We start with the MAN TGX 26640, and we start with the Sampo Rosenau HR46X, which is your tree feller, harvester, however you want to refer to it. That's it. As far as land goes, we start with this section down here, which is around the Sawmill. Prices for land vary and are pretty good, I'll be honest with you. 284 for that big old section there, and you'll see when we work our way through 156,000, 207, and you kind of work your way around the map. Biogas plant, there is one, and you know, obviously if you do decide to use it for farming, you're going to probably want a biogas plant at some point. That only costs you 26 grand, well 27,000, just under 27,000 if you're going to buy that. Cheap as chips, absolutely fantastic, I like that. So yeah, prices stuff, not too bad at all. Now, if you don't like forestry, you're not going to like doing this. If you like the whole forging your way into the wilderness and build up your farm, you're going to love it. Wilhelmina Forest was the same. That concept is great because, as you can see on the map, you've got a track that runs right the way around the outside, which joins up all of these cell points. But there are no tracks that run into the middle. You have to do those yourself. Put them in, landscape them. I think that's brilliant. It gives you something to aim for, which very, very clever idea. So, as far as sell points go, we do have a barn, we've got central grain elevator, ranch, restaurant, sawmill and spinnery. Going around and looking at them all, we're going to have a kind of whiz round. Like I said, this runs around the outside, and to be fair, most of the stuff around the outside is dead standing with a few palm trees dotted around. The store, as we are heading from the southwest corner of the map, we're heading east along the southern part. The store is here. If you reset anything, it resets back to here, and we have got a fuel station just there. So if you do increase your logging empire and you do move into farming as well, you've got somewhere to refill. I know there are plenty of placeables and stuff available to do that kind of thing, and the main storefront is just there. Repair, customization and selling of your vehicles is done around the back just here. And that's the store. So what I'm going to do is whiz round as quickly as I can to all the various different sell points, and then we're going to forge our way into the middle because, well, I mean, I'll explain as we go and do that. So as we head around now, we come to the sawmill, which opens out in front of us. Plenty of space on here. Lumber, log, sell points just there, with your wood chips around the outside. Now the map is going to be by no means an easy feat. It's quite, I will use the word undulating. It is. You've got a lot of undulations, and you've got rises and falls and valleys and peaks, and as you move in towards the centre of the map, you've got some bits which are incredibly steep and are going to be tricky to do. So as far as finding flat spots and places for your farm and fields, you're going to have to kind of pick wisely where you're going to put it if you are going to do farming on here and not just forestry. We have got a livestock market, which is just here, which allows for the fact you're going to be possibly moving on to to farming if you decide to go down the livestock route rather than just arable. So we are now in the southeast corner of the map, and we're going to be heading up the eastern side now. And as you can see, all around the outside it's still kind of dead standing palm trees. So out of the forest looms the next sale point. We are up the eastern side of the map, probably halfway up, I guess. Right up here, we are at the central grain elevator, heading up towards the barn, then the biogas plant. It's good because on some forestry maps it is just done purely for forestry, and I think often at the start map makers that were doing forestry maps thought, well, this is just a forestry map. I like the fact they're including stuff in now to allow for the fact that people are going to want to farm, and that concept of clearing the land to open it up for a farm gives you the availability of doing that. You don't have to if you just want to do it as forestry. You might do it as a multiplayer map, however you want to do it. As you can see, we're rising up quite high now, heading up to the northeast corner of the map, which came upon us far quicker than I thought it was going to. So we are now all the way up here at the barn. Now heading west across the northern part of the map. And we come to a rather large biogas plant. Two big bunker silos, digester down this end, and our digestate tank just over here. We now find ourselves over at the ranch. And now the northwest corner of the map. We are at the spinnery. Right, so now we're going to head down the western side of the map. I think it's the last of the sale points, which is the restaurant. Then we're going to head in towards the water source, the oasis itself. Okay, so now we're coming up on the restaurant, which is the last of the sale points. Just here. I like the fact you kind of have to drive to them, you know, if you're going to get good prices, whatever you're going to do. I like the fact they're kind of all around the outside. And if you start forging your way across the map, I suppose you can put roadways crisscrossing the map. You haven't got all the way around the outside to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn our attentions inward. So as we drive through, like I say, there are no tracks or roads. If you're going to do those, you've got to put them yourself. But as we start to move in, as we get closer towards the oasis, you'll notice the ground changes. It's not as sandy and bare and barren. You've got more kind of ground textures. Plus, the trees become more green, more fertile as you move in. That's a nice touch, you know, it's a clever idea. The mixture of pine and fir, we're more away from the palm trees, but the ground, it can be very, very different here. Now there are rivers that move their way around. If you want to build bridges with the trees and things like that, you're more than welcome to, but you can drive through them. They're not too deep, They're not always easy to get in and out of, but you can drive through, like so. Need to make sure I'm actually heading into the middle and not kind of skating around the outside, but actually let's just check the map. Where are we? Yep, I knew it. I've got to go that way more, haven't I? Like I say, it's a lot more. You've got a lot of steep-sided hills. For doing logging and forestry, it's not going to be as straightforward and easy as you first think. I mean, that doesn't look too healthy at all, does it? That's why we need a decent off-roader, don't we? A decent 4x4. I think we're heading in towards the middle. Yeah, I think so. Just need an adventurous spirit and a chainsaw, and you'll be fine. We should get into the middle at some point. I think I'm going way too high here, aren't I? We'll still get to it. Here we go. Right, let's stop here. And here in the middle, it's amazing. You've got this oasis. A calm in the storm. I know it's very strange in the middle of a desert to have not to have an oasis, but to have an oasis with the biogas plant and that kind of stuff. But it's nice to have something different. It's a clever idea. What's that referred to? I think it's a ziggurat, isn't it? When it's stepped, or is it a stepped pyramid? I think it's the same kind of thing. But yeah, really nice feature. Yeah, so like I say, if you like forestry, you're going to love it. If you want that to do that pioneering farming thing, you're going to absolutely love it. If forestry's not your thing, you're not going to like this map at all. I like the fact it's something different, in a different sort of landscape than we're used to. There's some nice features, nice touches, cleverly done. Yeah, there you go. So that's Oasis Springs by Catalyzer Gaming. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest, whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.